Hello, I'm Connor. I'm the sole developer of the SMART or Smart C Management Framework. So the problem statement was you as the client wanted inventory management to be handled, employee payroll to be handled, and customer transactions to be handled by a software solution. And you wanted for the inventory management side, tracking stock, you wanted it to be able to add and remove items, you wanted for the employee payroll to be able to calculate salaries, handle overtime, and for customer transactions, you wanted to be able to process purchases and discounts. Well, my solution to that is first, we have users as a priority. Smart uses a user-based system with three roles: employee, customer, and admin. The system is designed in a way that allows the administrator of the system to add and remove employees and customers easily. Each role has its own functionality where customers can make requests for stock and employees can fulfill those requests. On the data side, Smart uses an array to store all users, keeping data centralized. Each part of the system uses this data and each user interacts with it. For the inventory management side, employees within Smart's database can log into their accounts and view all available stock. When customers are requesting stock, Smart uses a request system that when a customer makes a request, it stores it within an array. Employees can either approve, or deny stock requests. For the employee payroll side, the admin or administrator of the system can view all employees currently within Smart's database to see their usernames, first name, last name, and pay. The system administrator can also change their pay. Employees can also view their daily salary through the employee menu. Here are some of the key features of Smart. The menu system. Smart uses a menu system where each user type, customer, or where each user type, customer, user, and admin have different menus. When a user logs in, the system automatically opens their specific menu. So let's say I'm the admin of the system. I want to log into the admin account, type in the admin username, admin, type in the password. It will then automatically log me into the admin menu where I can manage all the employees, where I can manage customers, where I can do various things as the admin. It automatically basically detects what user you are and brings you to the specific user menu associated with that user. I also have an admin management. So as I said, Smart has an admin user, which has a specific menu that allows the admin to manage all other users. The admin can add new users, employees, or customers, remove users, view users, and change employee information, such as payroll. The order request system. Now, Smart uses a sort of like request system where a customer places an order for a certain type of stock, then that request will be put within an array. Employees can interact with that request by either approving or denying it. A typical customer request for stock could be 50 apples. That request for 50 apples is then able to be approved or denied by employee users. That's sort of how Smart deals with like orders. Expandability. Smart has a helper function that allows for easy adding of new users. Both the employee and customer creation menu use this function, which gathers user input and validates it. By validating, it means like when the admin of the system is trying to create an employee, it will then take the employee's username, compare it to all other usernames of the users in the system, and checks if that username already exists. If that username already exists, it does not let you create that user. So basically validates it. So there can only be there can't be two usernames that are the same within the system. And this function is used for when the admin wants to create a new employee or customer user. So the helper function. Creating new user types is easy with this function. So basically, this function takes in all, so like when the admin is creating a new user, say like a customer, this helper function takes in all the inputs for this user. So when the admin's creating the username of the customer, the password of the customer, the and then it will basically take in those inputs, and then if those inputs are validated, it will then add that new user that the admin created to the database. And it also works for the employee creation menu, or the employee creation when the admin creates an account for an employee, types in their username, their password, their first name, last name, pay per hour. It handles both the employee menu or the employee creation and customer creation, and so it reduces the amount of code and it makes it easy to add new users. So let's say I wanted to add a new user to the system that isn't an employee or customer, I could do it easily and then use that helper function to enable basically easier reduced code usage with that helper function. Now here's sort of like the breakdown of what the system does on like the back end, the lower level. So the system uses about 10 or so constants. So Smart uses constants to keep track of values that do not need to change. These are pretty much the most important constants. They are basically the role constants. So the constant for admin is 1, employee is 2, customer is 3, and these constants are used to represent users and are used in various functions. And then functions. Smart has around 19 functions, each with their own use. These functions allow for cleaner and more modular code. Many functions, especially menu functions, will call other functions, ensuring that each function adheres to a single-use standard. And what single-use standard means is that I want each function to have only one single use, to where one function doesn't have multiple different uses, which would make it hard to know where to change a specific aspect of the program. Like if the employee menu for some reason changed data for customers, well, I wouldn't know that, and it would be hard to figure out like what function does what. That's why I use many different functions for every specific thing in the program, so that one function has one use only. And loops. Smart uses loops to loop through the various arrays that store data, usually to find a user from a username. Each array has a variable that represents how many key value pairs are within it, which is used when looping through arrays. And because there's a limitation of C where a loop does not inherently when looping through a loop cannot inherently track like iterations, or it cannot track what an index is on. So like for example, Java array lists have a built-in function that allows you to say like myArray.get and then the index. Well, C doesn't have that, so you have to when you have to C does not have a built-in function that gets you the maximum or the current amount of indexes within an array. Therefore, you have to make a variable that represents the current amount of key value pairs that are currently in the array. And so the live demonstration. So I'm going to just show how the program works. So this is the live demonstration of the program. This is a sort of primitive user interface that the program uses. So 1 to log in, 2 to exit. Now you have to type in the username of an account. So I'm going to log in to the admin account. Password 123. I've made it so that the system, it's easy to change the admin's password. You just have to change the value of a constant. And so I'm going to create an employee. The employee's username can be employee2. And then I can type in the password 123. First name can be Joe Joseph. Let's say they are paid $15 an hour when they work 8 hours a day. Now I can go into the employee management menu. I can list all the employees. So I have the default. So I have 3 test users, 1 for admin, 1 for employee, 1 for customer. And so I already have 1 test employee who's named Jeff Elderson, and then you can see the one I added whose username is employee2, Joe Joseph, pay per hour. I can change the hourly pay of employees, so I can type in employee2. change the hour. So that it shows current hourly pay. I can change it to 20, and I can do that for hours worked per day. Oops, I accidentally typed something wrong, so I'm just gonna restart the program. I accidentally typed in this symbol or slash. That could be something I could work on, fixing handling input that is not that is not an integer. But I'm gonna log back into the admin. I can remove users, so I can remove employee 1, or just his the username of that employee is just employee. Employee has been removed. And then I can go to a management menu, list all employees. You can see employee list is none. But because I restarted the program, the employee that I added is not there. This program does not implement a save system. That is something that I could add, but this does not use a save system. That's why the employee that I added previous is not there. Then I can go back to the main menu. I can log in as a customer, so I've made a user called customer to be able to show you what a customer can do. The customer can view available stock. We have 100 apples, 50 bananas. I can request stock. I want to request apples. I want 50 of them. And so I think I have to do capital. Okay, there I as the customer submitted a stock request, and then if I go back to and then if I log in as an employee, I can valid login. Oh yeah, because I removed the employee. So if I log in again as admin, I create an employee. Do 3 congon. It's my GitHub name. Employee pay per hour. Let's say 1,000. 24 hours, and then I can go back to the main menu, log in as employee with password 123. I can view the stock levels. I can process stock requests. So there's one stock request from customer. The name is customer, and the item that they're requesting is apples. The quantity is 50. The status of the request is pending. I can and so this is the request number. So if I do 1, I can either accept it or deny it. I'm going to accept it. And now if I view stock levels, we had 100 apples. Now we only have 50. And so I can calculate my daily salary as congon. My daily salary is $24,000 from my how many hours I work plus, so that's $1,000 an hour. Work for 24 hours a day. So yeah, that's basically the whole system in action. Here's like just some of the code in it, like the structs for users, struct for, and then here's the user array, which is made up of users. Here's the test users I have in there. The variables used to track how many key value pairs are within an array, so that I can tell how much indexes I need to loop through in every for loop. And yeah, that's basically my program. Here's my various functions, all the functions it uses. It's pretty expandable. One important thing is the helper function. It basically in input, so I have something where I input. So for example, when I'm creating an employee, I have like an input. So for the first one, I'm getting the employee's username. I'm inserting it all into the helper function, and then it just, instead of like if it just allows for less code. It would be very it would be much more sort of much more code. It just does it all like if The user inputted B, then it goes back to the previous menu, and it validates information. So instead of having to put validate information on every single place where I'm trying to get input, it just does it. Validate information. All this does is checks if, let's say, the username that I inputted for an employee, when I'm making an employee, if that username is greater than max length. So let's say I only want people to have usernames that are at max 50 characters. That's basically what validate does. It checks if the username is larger than the max. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole program. Smart management framework. Smart management, all-encompassing, reliable, and tested.